Okay, so to continue about community property, there's some things that have been donated by the lay supporters that are made available to the residents of the community, not to guests. So these are things like toothbrushes, toothpaste, things like that. There's some things that are made available to guests also, the soap, the hand lotion, anything that's above the counters in the bathroom is for guests, the medicine chest also. But then extra toothbrushes and toothpastes are usually for the residents. If there's a guest who shows up here who forgot their toothbrush, we can give them one, something like that. So basic toiletries are provided, and there's no need for us to go out and buy our own. And in fact, I think it's a good training for us to get used to using what is offered by people. I know, there's certain toothpastes that are in toothpaste. If you have a certain dental condition and your gums get inflamed by another one, that has to do with medical things. But when it has to do with preferences, I like this kind of thing because it tastes better, or that kind of hand lotion, or, these kinds of things, how we get very picky, then actually it's quite a good training to just leave that aside and we just use whatever it is that people offer to us. And that's fine. Even if it's not on the counter, we know where the extra toothpaste is and so on. We can go and take that. Same with clothes. People will offer clothes to the Abbey. Right now we're very small, so we don't have a manager. When we get bigger, then we'll need somebody who is a storeroom manager. But right now we're small. We don't need that. We know where the monastic clothes are, we know where the anagarika clothes are, and so we can go and if we need something, take it, and it's always better to take something that's in the closet if you need something, rather than if a lay supporter comes and says, oh, I noticed that, you need this and such, and the mind says, oh, here's the opportunity to get something brand new that I really like. Don't follow that mind, but go to the closet, and if it's something there that fits you, that is what you need, whether you like it or not is not important. You take it and use it, okay? Only if we really don't have something or something doesn't fit us, and then if a lay supporter asks, then we accept it. But if there's already something there, there's no need to consume more resources on this planet by getting things we don't need. And this whole thing about, well, I like this or I like that, that's one of the big things that we're trying to overcome by all dressing in the same way and all having the same haircut. When you ordain, you don't say, but I like to have a little curl here, and I like to have a green stripe here. And no, this is just the way you do it, whether you like the hairdo or not. Oh, I have a scar here, I want to grow my hair longer. Too bad, So this is just the way you do it. So it's the same way with objects that we need to use. If it works, use it, whether we like it or not. We have to be very practical here. So then there's other things that have been offered that are community property, that if we are doing a job for the community, we can take and use. CDs, stuff like that. Paper in general, notebooks, pens, these are kinds of things I think people can take. There's plenty of them if you need file folders for your individual file cabinets or whatever, because we have quite a lot of them. So things like that. It's always good to let the person in the office know, just in case they were planning to hold those things for, for some further use, things like that we don't have much of. that we're saving for use in the office. But, you know, paper, pencil, things like that, then we can take even, you know, if we need for our own private use or whatever. We have this whole stack of envelopes, boxes and boxes of envelopes that were the small ones that were donated. Take those, you know. You know, for other things where we don't have so many, you know, like the large legal size envelopes, I don't think that we necessarily have so many, so we wouldn't like necessarily take those for our own personal use. However, if there are things like that, you know, like, you know, that we could use for our own personal use, and, you know, it doesn't make much sense to go out and get it individually, you know, because you need one. Then I think, or you just need a few of them, then what I think is good to do is you just leave a small donation in the Dana box basket, and then you take it. And so, and here I'm talking strictly about residents, you know. Some things with guests we would have to see if this applied. But when I use, you know, I give a great deal of the, like almost all the offerings I receive to the Abbey. So sometimes I will think, okay, this money, it will cover for the stationary things that I'm going to use. And so then I'll use the, you know, I'll take stamps for private use, or, you know, sending in my health insurance, or when I made the CDs about my mom, you know. So that kind of donation would cover those things that I take for my private use that, you know, were more offered for, they weren't offered so much for private use, they were more offered for the community to use. Are you getting what I'm saying? Whereas paper, pens, those, you know, and then all these tons of envelopes, that's clearly something that, you know, kind of people can use. You know, if you have any doubt about things, then ask the person who is in the office, because they are the keeper of that kind of thing. And, you know, and so you would let them know. Then bigger things like the CD players and so on, we're free to use, but we don't, you know, consider them our own, and we don't keep them in our own room for a long period of time. If you're listening to something for a few days right in a row, you know, you can maybe keep it for a few days. But that's if we have many of them. If we don't, then you put it back where you found it, okay? If you're making a copy of a teaching on a CD that you want to listen to, if you intend to that it's going to be for the library afterwards, use a CD, you know, no necessity to make an offering. But if you're copying it because you want to send pictures to your friend, then it's definitely for private use. Then, you know, you would make an offering for that kind of thing. Okay? So whenever there's any doubt, then you ask the person who's in charge of that department, and then they kind of make the decision. Like a thing came up, like the candles that are half burnt and, you know, are kind of, you know, we have a policy that no candles in the house, but I'm in my room when I do the meditation and the candle goes out. So in the winter I use the old candles. I don't need to ask for that. But if there's other candles that have been offered, the little tea lights, then I ask Frederick, please check with Venerable Semke, because she's kind of the one that handles that kind of thing. Okay? And then if she says, yeah, we have plenty of them here, take them, you're offering to the Buddha anyway, it's not, you know, your personal thing, you know, that's fine. But if I were to take those candles and then give them as a present to my friend, that's not so good, because then I'm making it my gift to my friend, and that would be taking things that aren't freely given. You know, if I make a gift on behalf of the Abbey, and like lots of times we have visiting teachers who come here, and so, you know, we gave them a thing of extra CDs or socks or you know, we gave a computer, these kinds of things, then, you know, who's ever in charge, you just check with them, and you make the gift on behalf of the Abbey, not on behalf of yourself as a personal gift. So remember I was talking about that. If we make a food offering, you know, to a teacher, we do it on behalf of the Abbey, not as, you know, my personal thing. So the same thing. You wouldn't take something from the community and then give it as your personal offering. Okay? Things like I was just looking over there, you know, the books, the sweatshirts, those are things that were given to the community that if people want, they make an offering towards. Yeah, same thing with malas and, you know, this kind of stuff. There's some situations, like right now the cards are out there, then there's other situations, deity cards, where we just give them to everybody who's participating in a thing. That's fine. If we give them out, that's one thing, it's a gift from the community, but then if guests come and it's a situation like that, then it's good they know we're giving freely, but, you know, that is kind of on the assumption that people reciprocate in some way, you know, just whatever they feel like. Okay? So there's a lot of things that are kind of gray areas, you know. We don't know what the area is, what the thing is, you know. You need a piece of, you know, you need a shelf in your room. Okay? Well, your room is actually not your room. It actually belongs to the community. So then you have to think if putting a shelf there is going to also be good for the person who comes after you. Because we're not designing our own personal, our rooms the way we like it. You know, so it has to be something that's going to be useful for the person who comes after. If that's the case, then it can be community property that is, you know, get a piece of wood, paint it and, you know, put it on. Okay? Yeah, but things will come up where we don't have a clear idea of, you know, is this something that's freely offered where I don't have to make an offering? Or is this something where I should make an offering? So in those situations, then just ask. Okay? But I would say stamps, you know, we should make an offering for, because it's not like we have tons of them. If you're writing letters for the Abbey, any work you do for the Abbey, you take the things. There's no reason to make an offering because you're working for the Abbey. So, you know, if we're sending thank you letters out to people who have given us things, if we're writing letters to the inmates, that's part of our work for the Abbey. So, you know, all that is included. But if we take stamps for ourselves to write a letter to our friend or our family, then that's when, yeah. Okay? Good. Yeah. And so as things come up, then just, you know, bring them up at the table and we'll discuss them and, you know, because some of the things, it's not real clear. Yeah? Okay? You know, I was looking out and there's the prayer flags, okay? So if, you know, if you're thinking, oh, I have windows outside my room and the birds are going to fly in, you know, can I use the prayer flags? Well, yes, by all means, you know, because we do things, that's something for the community to help the wildlife around here. You know, if you want to take prayer flags, you know, for some personal use that's just yours, you know, and they're going to get destroyed in the meantime, then you would make an offering. Okay, and this is just because at this time we have plenty of them. There might be other times when we don't, so then the situation changes.